Deep beneath the blue, there's a biological machine so perfect, it's almost terrifying. But this isn't just a fish. It's a prisoner of its own speed. Meet the yellowfin tuna. This creature is sentenced to a life of perpetual motion. See, if it stops for even a second, it suffocates. Period. To fuel that kind of intensity, it uses a specialized blood network called the rete mirabile, a biological furnace that keeps its muscles burning at 95 degrees Fahrenheit, even in the freezing depths. With eyes that lock onto targets like a fighter jet's radar and a hydraulic fin system that kills any drag, this thing hits 50 miles per hour. When you've got one on the line, you aren't just catching a fish. You're trying to stop a freight train with no brakes in the middle of the ocean. Buckle up. We're heading into a moment as high stakes as a Super Bowl final, where the loser loses everything, and the winner walks away with the most precious ruby in the sea. In the waters off San Diego, today we're ditching the industrial nets. No scooping up tons of fish at once. Doing this the fair way. Check out these guys on the rail. No winch, no fancy lures, just a heavy-duty bamboo pole and a hell of a lot of rhythm. It's a dance of muscle and precision. One wrong move, that barbless hook comes flying back at your face like a bullet. But here's the thing, operating a boat like this in 2024 is a gamble. With fuel prices hitting record highs, a light haul turns into a $1,000 financial nightmare. Then a super cow shows up, 200 pounds plus. Suddenly, the bamboo pole isn't enough. That's when switch to rod and reel, modern tech with a drag system that costs thousands. The reel screams like a chainsaw as that fish peels off 300 feet of line in seconds. We're 3 hours into the fight now. Mike's soaked in sweat and salt, leaning into a harness that's seen better days. It's man versus machine versus nature. When that yellowfin finally givers up and hits the surface, the tension is unreal.
Wow! Yeah, baby, look at that. That's a magnificent looking fish. Nice barrel shape. Awesome stuff. I reckon we might be able to lift him up and let him go, you reckon? Woo!
Beautiful. He's going to tag him down, so if anyone ever catches him, you know where he comes from, we're going to try.
Hold it in the tail, ready, set, go! Oh. Whoa. Bit of a sliding esky. You guys got him? Quickly.
Yeah, I got him.
Let's go move this. Get a shot.
Oh, no, re-stick him.
Got him?
Can you? Yeah, I got him.
Get him out of here, get him. I got him. God damn it. Help, mate. Yeah, there you go.
I got caught on the rock. Watch, Mike. Holy shit. Woo! Reel your fingers up.
Real.
Picking up the slack. You see, y'all got it Oh my God, how pretty.
The battle's won, but the real race, it starts the second that fish hits the deck.
Thank you, buddy.
On the cold stone table, the tuna knife, first cut, from the tail to the fins, then the gills. The steel slides right through, separating the head from that massive frame. Then, we peel back skin as thick as a cow's hide to reveal the akami, flesh so red it looks like a ruby. That's the hallmark of grade number 1 quality. Every slice here is a math problem. One bad move can wipe $200 off the value of that toro belly fat. In the hands of a master, this wild monster is transformed into perfect red cubes. Pure, zero waste. So you think you've got the secret formula to the ultimate yellowfin experience? This is where the ocean's violence gets tamed by fire and herbs. We're starting with the smoked yellowfin. Smoke from the pit boss wraps around the meat, mixing oak wood with the salt of the sea. The speed demon that was tearing through the water at 50 miles per hour is now perfectly still. The circle is closed. From a desperate breath at 650 feet deep to a masterpiece on a plate. It's a journey of sweat and absolute flavor. Herb tuna steak. Those red akami slabs are crusted in garlic and fresh herbs. When they hit the cast iron, magic happens. Look at that texture, seared on the outside, but the center? Still a raw, juicy ruby. This is the beef of the sea. We all know yellowfin is the gold standard, but do you think a so-called common fish like the black drum could ever hold a candle to it if prepped the right way? Would you ever swap your tuna steak for a piece of drum?
I usually go down the backbone.
Okay.
With black drum, cut-proof gloves aren't an option. They're a requirement. This 40-pounder is a literal fortress.
They look like guitar picks.
Well, it's a big fish. Now this is about a
40 pound.
40 pounder, and already in the last couple of days we've had a couple of 80 pounders, which is twice.
Look at these scales.
Yep.
Big as guitar picks, tough as bone. A weak blade will give up in inches.
All right, now as you're doing this, I'm just taking a guess here. You doing this standard the way we usually do it, like
Down the backbone, then we swap. Heavier steel now.
I usually use 2 different kinds of knives. I use a regular fillet knife to go down the backbone and stuff. And then
Why? To save the best part most folks throw away. The drum ribs, an Eastern Shore legend. Thick, meaty, chopped into sections. Now be ruthless with that bloodline. Trim it all.
In our 30-year career, we have not done a whole lot of actual drumming, but here on the shore, it's a big thing.
we put them on a grill,
Wow.
smoke them, either any which way. Yep.
Cut out the belly,
Yep.
all around. Really nice clean job there on the light coming right around there.
Yeah. Yep. I'm trying to get.
And you sell some good fillet knives here up from the Bay Bridge Tunnel,
We're
maybe
3 miles north of the bridge tunnel.
3 miles north. And if you're heading north, you'll be right on the left. Can't miss it.
Just a little bit past Kitchen Big Stick. This is a male, no row.
Okay. Now with
What's left is pure pearl. Zero mud flavor. Nothing wasted. Total respect for a warrior of the deep.
The puppy drum, has always been real popular. Blackened.
And now, can the fire truly wake up the flavor inside?
Being weighed in. The difference in taste, if you're going to be, eating these
A lot of
things,
guys
right?
like the small.
Now that rib meat trick, have you done that with rockfish as well? Wow. Okay. All right, we're still cutting those ribs. We'll skin that also.
Yep.
Just come right down the backside. Drum ribs.
Yep.
All right.
And then you just cut it into, like 3-piece sections. 2 or 3-piece.
And you cut the little bit of the membrane off on the backside.
Yep. Yep.
Drum ribs. Okay, learn something.
Trim it all up.
That is something.
What I'll usually do is
That's right down in the center.
down the center, and it's also in the back, towards the skin.
No, bloodlines are down in the center and then also on the back
Yep.
of the fillet.
You'll see it when I flip it up. I try to not, but yeah, you just trim it up like you would anywhere you
Sure.
prepare it. Then you just cut it into chunks
All right.
in the meat.
All right.
Here we go.
Chunk this up into sizable portions, basically, for human beings.
This is where the pride of the ocean gets washed clean. Black drum parmesan. Every fillet is breaded in a crispy panko crust, golden like the Gulf sun. Then we smother it in a rich tomato sauce and a layer of cheese that bubbles away at 450 degrees Fahrenheit.
We're shy with the panko. So we're just gonna add our drunkfish in, just like that. Nice and hot. All right, there we go. And that olive oil is nice and hot. I got it on high heat. What I want to do
Even a guy who's seen nearly a century, like our friend here at 97 years old, has to stop and pay his respects to this flavor. It just goes to show there's no such thing as a trash fish.
That's actually perfect. That's what you want. In the kitchen. There you go. Look at that. That looks good already, huh, guys? All right, flip this over here. Oh. All right.
Only cooks who haven't figured out how to wake them up yet. But if you're a purist, try the crispy skin drum. The secret is a bone-dry skin and the earthy scent of fresh bay laurel.
3 pieces of fish, and you can tell I'm just going to start rubbing in the sauce with my hands. I want to cover it all over the fish, just like that, right before I add the cheese. So that's looking pretty good right there, fish-a-lots. And then, of course, the next part of this is going to be the cheese. Again, a matter of preference. You could add as much, or let's see how they come out.
Black drum. Proof that a little patience on the deck leads to pure luxury on the plate.
Get it in the plates.
Pour this just so it doesn't curl up too bad when we go to cook it. So that's it, and then get as much water out of that as possible.
If you love the wildlife to the table art lifestyle, tap the screen to discover more secrets from the ocean.
Butter without, I always cook without unsalted butter, so you can control. This is bay laurel. I think dry, so we're getting closer. I'm going to give it a little flip, and then we're going to finish that. A little bit of scallion, and that's it. You could do a little squeeze of lemon on this.
Deep in the dark, freezing waters of the ocean, there are creatures with raw beauty and terrifying strength. Look at this giant sea snail, hitting record sizes up to 12 inches, weighing over 3 pounds. Its armored shell grips the reef with a massive suction force of 400 pounds. But hiding right behind that impenetrable fortress is a fatal flaw. This giant sea snail's blood has zero ability to clot. One tiny scratch during the hunt and it bleeds to death. The meat instantly ruined. So, how exactly do you conquer a creature that's so powerful yet so incredibly fragile at the bottom of the sea? Welcome to one of the deadliest jobs on Earth. Down in South Australia, they're dropping to the pitch-black bottom with nothing but an air hose keeping them alive. But you don't just pluck these giants off a rock. You have to hunt them, diving deep and digging blindly through the cold, shifting sand, sifting through the muck. And what's surrounding them down there in the dark? Rip currents tearing the reef apart, the constant threat of a severed airline, and the ultimate ghost of the ocean. So why face almost certain death for a sea snail? Because the second this creature leaves the water, it turns into pure gold. Forget the ocean. Welcome to Shungwan, Hong Kong, the dried seafood capital of the world. Here, giant sea snails aren't just weighed, they're graded by heads, meaning how many snails it takes to make 1.3 pounds. The fewer the heads, the bigger the snail, and the heavier the price tag. At underground auctions, elite one-head snails hammer down for over $4,500 a pound. That's more expensive than white truffles or beluga caviar. When you're cooking an ingredient historically offered to the gods, where one wrong cut costs thousands, there is zero room for error. It's time for a process that's visceral and absolutely mesmerizing. A heavy blade, a brutal crack to the shell. The vacuum breaks, ligaments snap, the muscle is ripped straight from its fortress. But you don't cook the whole thing. The knife goes back to work, carving the body apart, the mouth, the guts, the dark trimmings. Sliced off and trashed, leaving only the premium cut. Finally, the blade returns, gliding through the meat, carving it into razor thin. cold, senseless reef monster to a masterpiece ready for the plate. First, a quick blanch in boiling water to lock in that signature bite. Then, it hits a blazing hot wok. Sizzling in crushed garlic and blistering red chilies. The intense heat sears the outside, coating every single slice in a fiery aromatic glaze. Or toss those translucent slices high over an open flame with crisp, vibrant greens. Look at that plate. Grab a piece. It still pushes back perfectly against a pair of wooden chopsticks. It used to be an armored fortress deep underwater, clinging to rocks with hundreds of pounds of suction. And now, it delivers a massive, satisfying crunch. The raw, salty taste of the ocean perfectly balanced by the sharp, smoky heat of the wok. How would you cook this giant sea snail? Do you have any other recipes in mind? Feel free to drop them in the comments. But isn't over yet. Let's go to the wolffish.